Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you for jumping on. And Kristen, I know you're probably laughing that that little devil is laying on my bed, but yeah, whatever. You need to go. Okay, so what I wanted to talk about today was not really a new subject, but something that I just thought could probably use some revisiting. And I know we have a lot of new ambassadors that have joined our team over the past few months. So I just figured it would be a good time to give us all a refresher. And I think it's something that's really important when it comes to really anybody that you're working with in regards to Plexus, whether it's a new customer or an ambassador. So that's why I kind of said that every conversation that you have with someone is important from the very first one on. So you're not listening very well. And so what I wanted to talk to you about is, I didn't want to call it necessarily troubleshooting, because it's in the very beginning, it's how you start, and that's not necessarily troubleshooting. But the way that this always comes up for me is when you're troubleshooting, I go back and say, well, in the beginning, did you do this? Did you do this? And so instead of asking you when you're troubleshooting, hey, well, did you do all these steps? I wanted to talk to you first about what those steps are, so that you would know to go through them when you're talking to someone. And when I say that troubleshooting starts with the very first conversation, when you meet with someone about Plexus for the first time, everything that you do in every conversation that you have with them is a buildup to what they're going to order, whether they want to become an ambassador or not. Every time you talk to someone, you're getting information from them about these that will answer these questions. And so that's why I say it's important right from the very beginning to be paying attention and asking these questions. So first and foremost, when you're talking to someone about Plexus, you always, always, always in this business want to be others-minded. You want to be focused on them. If you are worried about, am I going to get this customer? Am I going to close this deal? Is this person going to get active? If that's what's constantly on your mind, and you're coming from a place of desperation or want or need, that comes across. And so you want to make sure that your heart is in the right place. And I'm not saying that you don't have financial needs, and I'm not saying that you're not trying to rank up. We all are. But those needs of yours should drive your desire to help others, rather than it being the motivation for you, your work. It should be the motivation for helping other people. And if you constantly are thinking of helping other people and how Plexus can change their lives, then the way you come off will be completely different. And so that's really important. And someone said the other day, I think it was Jen Hawkins, and I can't remember if she said it, I think she said it in the coaching call we just did, where she followed up with a friend who she'd spoken to about Plexus, and she said, hey, I don't want you on my team just to have you on my team. I want you to do Plexus because the blessing is all yours. And I thought, wow, that's such awesome wording, because it's true. It's like you are giving someone a gift. And I know we hear these things and they kind of sound kind of cliche, but it's true. And to say, put it in those words, I thought was awesome, to say, like, the blessing is all yours. And so I want you to remember that, and not come from a place of desperation, but come from a place of wanting to bless others, because everything fantastic about our business follows you when that is your attitude, when an attitude of helping others and gratefulness and just wanting to share the blessing with others, when that's the place you're coming from, then all the other things that you want and need, the money, the rank ups, that kind of stuff, that will follow just by the law of nature. And so remember that. Now back to meeting with people. When you're meeting with someone and they're asking you about plexus, you can always give them a snippet of what plexus is and what it does. But ultimately, you want to talk to people about what their needs are. So how do you do that? You have to ask them questions. So rather than what is plexus all about and hey, let me flip through a catalog with you, you need to ask people, what are your goals? What is it about plexus that intrigues you? What are you trying to change in your life that attracted you to plexus? So if it's weight loss, if it's chronic pain, if it's an ailment that they have that they would like relief from, you need to know that so that you can steer them in the right direction. I don't think I muted everybody. And I don't even know if I can. Oh, here we go. Hold on. Okay. So you need to know what someone's goals are. Ask them what their goals are. I always ask people that. What are you looking for? What are your goals? And so back to troubleshooting. Well, I'll get there. I won't skip ahead. And then based on their goals, what products would you recommend? So this takes you off into a tangent of, do you know your products? So you don't need to know everything about your products, but you do need to know the basics. And reading the catalog is really informative. It's gotten so much better than even 2 or 3 catalogs past where there wasn't really a lot of product information in them. They're very informative now. If you have not been in one of our customer coaching groups, you should jump in on one because we do quite a bit of product. We don't go over all the products, but we definitely hit the triplex and X Factor Plus and X Factor, and we go over some of the weight loss on our weight management day. But the things that we talk about the products are very specific, so you would learn some tidbits of information that you would probably find very helpful. So I would do that. And then there's a ton of product videos and information, so you need to study up on the products. So based on their goals, what would you recommend? Another thing is, you will always hear me say this about plexus in almost any situation that you ask me about. There is no exact answer to any question. It's very difficult to do a blueprint that says, if they say this, do that. Because there are so many variables that go into every equation, and people are different, their bodies are different, their personalities are different, their sphere of influence is different, their level of commitment is different. So you have to, on an individual basis, take all those things into account when you're deciding what product they should take, whether they should be an ambassador or a customer, that kind of stuff. So there's never a set roadmap. So I say that because, yes, most of the time we're going to recommend the triplex, but it's not so much because that's just what we want to get them on. It's because it truly is the combination that addresses most of the issues. But you still want to ask someone, what are their goals? And along with that, you also need to know, what are your eating habits like? What is your level of activity? And what is your level of stress in your life? Because all of those things have an impact on our bodies. And depending on those answers, you're going to recommend certain products to people. And like I said, the majority of the time, it may be that it's the triplex. But don't think that someone says, I want to triplex this, and you go, okay, get the triplex, here's my link. It's not that simple. So you definitely want to have a conversation with them so that you can tell them, I'm recommending that you start with the triplex, and here's why. You mentioned that you want to lose weight, but that your biggest thing is, I'll use myself as an example, that you love carbs and chips and chicken fingers. So that's more likely a gut issue. And if you get your gut healthy and back into balance, then the likelihood of you being able to lose weight more easily and faster is higher. And so I would tell you to start with the triplex. Okay. If someone's talking about pain relief or again, like I said, so many things are caused by inflammation and blood sugar. So again, you may go back to triplex, but you may say, I recommend that you start with Slim and our Ease product. So you need to know your products, and you need to know those factors, what their goals are, what are their eating habits like, what's their level of activity and stress. Once they tell you that, you can come up with a product recommendation. One thing that I think is important to do is to make sure that they're able to commit to using the product for 90 days. And here's why. Again, this is not coming from a position of wanting a 3-month customer. It's coming from a position of a lot is not probably going to change in 30 days. We spend years and years eating chips and eating carbs and drinking wine and drinking beer and indulging. And even if you don't indulge, just the way that our food is processed, unless you're very, 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 very particular about what you eat, we've really messed up our microbiome, which is our digestive tract and everything that's going on, from here to here. So I lost my train of thought where I was going with that. 90-day commitment. Okay, so we spend all these years kind of messing with that, and then people want it fixed so quickly. And I tell people when I'm talking to them, I tell them, Plexus is not a quick fix. If you're trying to lose 15 pounds for your 20-year reunion, that is like next month, this is not the solution. This is not a crash diet. This is not a get fixed quick, get skinny quick. We're about getting healthy and having long-term results that are easy to maintain. Because as we all know, anybody who crash diets, the minute they stop doing what they're doing, it all comes back. That's what I tell them the give and take is. It takes longer, it's slower, but you keep it. It stays with you because you did it right. And so you want that 90-day commitment so that they don't think that Plexus didn't work in 2 weeks and then they just quit. And so you have to tell them, look, you may see some results. You may experience some results that get you excited, but your ultimate final goal, that may not happen right away. And so I, ask that you give it at least 90 days to let the products get in your body, get in your system, and get working. Nobody gets an antibiotic and takes 2 days and I'm not better, I'm not going to take it anymore. Not that we want to take antibiotics, but medicine from your doctor. If you have to take it, you don't just take it for a couple days and go, I don't feel better. You have to let it run its course. And it's the same with Slim. So you may experience die-off, which could take the first 2 or 3 weeks. So if you think in a week it's going to be a miracle, they're going to be set up for failure. And you want to set up your customers and your new ambassadors for success. The most important thing that you can do for a new customer or ambassador, number one, is to get them an amazing testimony. And in doing this, you have to follow these steps. You have to know what their goals are. You have to recommend the correct product, and you have to ask them to give it a fair shot. And so if they're not either mentally ready to give it 90 days or financially ready to give it 90 days, I would pause, because you don't want to be so desperate for the sale at that moment that it goes away the next month. Now you have someone who thinks Plexus doesn't work. They're going to tell people that I tried Plexus and it didn't work. By asking them to give you a 90-day commitment, it puts some of the responsibility on them. And so if and when they decide that they didn't get the results they wanted, you can go back to, well, did you take it for the full 90 days? No, I didn't. Okay, well, we talked about how that's really important. So they will know that it's not that Plexus didn't work. It's that they didn't want to give it the full time. So it really is important for you to ask for that 90-day commitment. Like I said, mentally, for them to accept some responsibility if they decide not to go through it, and for you to feel like I did what I was supposed to do, because it can be challenging as a new ambassador and even as a seasoned ambassador sometimes when people quit, for you not to have like a little seed of doubt planted. And the second thing that's so important is belief, right? They always say belief and commitment are the things that you need to get to be successful in this business. So if you let people quitting or deciding, oh, Plexus didn't work, if you let those seeds get planted in you, then your doubt will start to grow. And so it's important for you to know, no, it's not that the products didn't work, it's that they didn't fulfill that commitment that they said they would and give it a fair shot. So to recap, what are goals? What are their lifestyle choices, exercise, food, etc.? And then are they willing to give it a fair shot? If they say they're not prepared, there's two ways this can go, and I don't want to get too deep into this, but I would say, look, your success with Plexus matters to me more than your one-time order or than you ordering right now from me. So I would rather that you wait until you're able to give it a 90-day commitment than just get your order right this minute, knowing that in 30 days you can't order again. And if you don't have the results that you're looking for, but you're on the path, you're going to stop. The other angle that you can go is, would you be willing to work with me to have those products paid for? And that, again, is not a black and white yes or no. You have to know the person. Are they serious? Will they really do it? Because you don't want to set yourself up for failure. Same thing as with the customer, with an ambassador who she couldn't afford it, she wasn't going to buy it again, and she wasn't going to tell her friends, so she wasn't going to have the products pay for themselves. Then that's someone you need to say, look, it's important for me that this is successful for you, and in order to do that, you really do need to be able to commit to 90 days. So maybe let's hit the pause button. I've had that happen. I've had that happen before where someone told me that they wanted to try Plexus and they just kind of put me off. And when they finally joined and I was training them, or when they joined and I was talking to them about the 90-day commitment, she said yes. And then when we were training and I was telling her about the 90-day commitment, she said, that's why I didn't join, because I knew at the time that I needed to work this into my budget so that it could be a long time purchase. Okay, so let me check my notes. Sorry, Mike's texting me and he needs me to, okay, let me check my notes. Okay, so if they say that they are ready to commit to 90 days, here's another tangent in the road that I've thought about, and I don't know if we have time to cover it right now, but of course you would now need to make a decision of whether they would become an ambassador or a customer. If they're committed to the triplex for 90 days, you will have an active ambassador for 90 days. So again, depending on what you know about this person, do they have a large sphere of influence? Are they talkers? Are they coachable? So even if someone's shy, if they're coachable, they may be a candidate for becoming an ambassador. These are all factors that are personal, like between you and the person. You can get your upline involved if you're not sure, to kind of just talk and, how do you feel about social media? Do you have an extended family that that you could get on board with you, that kind of thing. You might consider having them become an ambassador, because if they're committed to 90 days, they're going to be active. You're going to help them build the best testimony that they can so that their belief is through the roof, and hopefully they will share with people and get paid. Otherwise, they become a customer. Either way, that's kind of not the topic of this video, so I'm going to keep going. But once you recommend certain products, you want to make sure that that's what they order. I had someone one time that I recommended the triplex, and she just wanted to lose weight, so she was looking at the website and she got Slim and Accelerator. And after a couple months, when she hadn't lost any weight, and I said, well, that's why I think it was important for you to do the BioCleanse and the probiotic, because it can be a gut thing that you need to flush out first, and then the Accelerator would have helped later. But she chose not to listen, and she chose not to listen when I told her, that's why I think you should try the triplex, and she just quit. Now, again, I know that I recommended what I think would have helped her, and she chose not to order that. So do I think Plexus doesn't work? No, I think my friend chose to do whatever she wanted, and So she didn't get the results that she wanted. Again, so this is all about kind of building belief, guiding in the right direction, and you as an ambassador being confident in what you're doing and confident in our business. I think that these safety nets, they're not only good customer service, because that's number one, but it's a good buildup for you to be confident in what you're doing and not have doubt when someone quits or leaves or decides that Plexus didn't work for them. So after getting the product, obviously, did they get what you recommended? Now your next step is to teach them how to take it. So number one is to take it every single day. That is the most important. And so again, if you have a new customer or a brand new ambassador who has not gone through one of our coaching groups, you should drop them in there, because if you haven't seen one of our coaching groups, our primary goal in the coaching group is to teach people that Plexus is easy to take. That's the main goal. The education on the products, that's all kind of content and added bonus, because I don't know how many customers in the group really care about the specific ingredients in a product. They may or they may not. But what we want to do is build their belief and get them their best testimony. So building belief is, you can do this. When someone says, oh yeah, I'm not good at taking something every day. Yes, you can be good at it. It is easy. We will show you. It takes 20 seconds. And so strung throughout everything we say and everything we do is, isn't this easy? Isn't this fun? How are you feeling today? It was so easy. I woke up this morning and right away I did XYZ, and then people are jumping on the bandwagon. Yeah, I mixed mine while I was this. I took mine to work and I just shook it up before I did whatever. And so taking the product consistently and every day is so important, and teaching your customers, this is simple. You can do this. You can be successful taking your Plexus products is important, because another reason people will say it didn't work, and then you ask them, did you take it every day? And no, I forgot. Okay, well then it wasn't that it didn't work. And so one of those safety nets that we have to help your customers learn, take it every day, is these coaching groups. So utilize them. Also, aside from taking it every day, you need to follow up with them and ask them, I would say in the beginning, at least every few days, and then maybe a week out, how are you feeling? Are you noticing anything? Another thing we do in the coaching group is we groom them. We set the bar really low, and that's something that you should be doing with your customers, because if you set it high and they don't hit it, they're discouraged. If you set it low and they hit these low markers, they're like, oh, okay, I'll hang in and see what happens next. So one of the things that we always say in the coaching group is that you may or you may not. We always let them know, you may not notice increased energy, reduced cravings, better sleep. They're very basic. Those are the ones we focus on the most. And so you don't want to say like, hey, I lost 15 pounds in 1 month, or I lost 10 pounds in 2 weeks. Like, it's so awesome. Because when they lose no weight, when they gain a couple pounds because of detox, they're not going to be happy. They're going to cancel. They're going to be done. And they're going to say Plexus made them gain weight. So you need to tell them you may or may not experience a different feel in your clothing. You know, like I said, increased energy, the basic initial things that you notice. So you need to be in touch with them to talk about those small victories, right? Okay, it's been a few days. Have you noticed anything at all? You know, if the answer is no, okay, and keep on going. It's okay. It takes time to get into your system. Are you drinking all your water? And if they say like, yes, I did notice cravings, or I did notice better energy in the afternoon, that's awesome. See, this is the baby steps that Plexus. Oh, hold on 1 second. I got to make sure the dog's inside. Sorry, the gardeners are here. Sorry, hold on. Shut the door. The gardeners are here. Sorry, the gardeners open the gate and then the dog runs out. Okay, so the other reason that you want to stay in constant touch is because there's not just one way to take your products. So you do the basic recommendations, right? Take your Slim in the morning, take your bio cleanse between meals, or in the evening, take your probio before bed, take your omegas here or there, what it says on the bottle. I take mine at night. But if someone is saying to you, I take my Slim in the morning, but by 3 o'clock I still have that crash, you need to know to tell them, bump it up to maybe after lunch so that it carries you through that afternoon. So you need to be in constant contact with them, at least in the beginning, to address those issues and to let them know, look, these products can be tweaked. We can mess around with when you take them so that they work for you, because there is no one way to take them. And if you don't tweak it and it's not helping them, then again, the fall off and, oh no, it didn't work for me. I still was tired in the afternoon. So you do need to be in touch with them about, and that's what I say, if you don't feel right about the products before you give up, talk to me, because we'll talk about how you're taking them, when you're taking them, and maybe we can play around with that and make it better for you. Some people have had experiences where ProBio 5 keeps them up at night, or even BioCleanse. So they can't take it before bed. So you need it, okay, let's try switching it to morning. That's not the ideal time to take it. But one thing that Marianne has said about, or not Marianne, Cindy Latham has said about our products, you know, for example, the Vital Biome, everyone's like, take on an empty stomach. Well, it's like, shoot, unless I remember to take it first thing in the morning, I don't have an empty stomach all day. She says it's better to get it in you than to not take it because you didn't take it at the perfect time. So we can mess with when we take the products. Okay. The other thing is that you do have to focus and remind people that we are not a weight loss, necessarily weight loss program. We are not a diet. We are not a get skinny quick. And what we focus on telling people is Plexus is one tool, one out of many that will help you get healthy and help you lose weight if those are your goal, if that's your goal. So again, in the coaching group, something that we constantly stress is that Plexus is one tool out of many, so that nobody relies 100%. It's another grooming kind of phrase, so that when someone says this didn't work, you can say, okay, well, we talked about water and we talked about increasing your activity and we talked about food. Did any of those change? No. Okay, well, Plexus is one of many tools that you need to incorporate into your lifestyle to change what's going on. So if you're only depending on that one tool and ignoring the rest, then you're not embracing the system that will help you get healthy. So again, it takes the responsibility and it kind of puts it on them that you chose to focus on only one thing. You can't only do sit-ups and think your whole entire body is going to look good. So a lot of this is training you and training them, teaching them that, Plexus isn't magic. It does require effort and work on their own part. And it is tied in to other factors in their life. I always say that if anything was going to make us skinny instantly, we would have found it by now and we'd all be skinny. So Plexus isn't that magic tool. If so, every person who took Plexus would be skinny, but we're not, because do I still not always eat healthy? Do I still, I still love French onion dip. I can control myself and not eat the whole thing. But, it's like we all have all these different factors. Our genetics, our own genetics have a play in it, whether, you could be as healthy as you want, and because of something that you have going on with your health, it's harder for you to lose weight. And so you have to make sure that people know this is one tool out of many, and you need to incorporate all of them in order to get the best results. And again, it puts the responsibility on them. If they say, no, I chose to only focus on that one tool, well, then it wasn't just that Plexus didn't work. So it helps them take responsibility, and it helps you mentally know Plexus is working. Plexus is helping people, but people need to make the decision to be all in and take the steps that it needs. So that's kind of it as far as going through the steps. And I guess I went from the beginning to the end. And normally when I'm talking to someone about troubleshooting, I go backwards. So these are just ways that if you're covering all these sections from the very beginning, from your first exposure to someone about plexus, that you're focusing on what do they need? What are their goals? Okay, what products would best fit those goals? When someone comes to you and says, or you notice that they cancel and you talk to them and they tell you, yeah, it didn't really work for me. This is how you can kind of go through and find out where the disconnect happened. Was, did you know their goal to begin with? And if you didn't, that's a training moment for you. And I've actually gone back to people and said, you know what? I feel like I did you a disservice. I was new, if the more seasoned I get, the less I do that. But in the beginning, I was new. I always just told people, get Slim and Accelerator, get Slim and Accelerator. We didn't really know a lot about BioCleanse and ProBio when we first joined. I think they were very new products. And so when we came in, we did know Plexus as a weight loss company, not a gut health company. And so that's what we recommended to people. So I went back and said, look, I was new. I really didn't know a whole lot about our products. Now that I do, I know that gut health is super important. And I feel like I misguided you. And I think that maybe if you worked really hard on your health, on your gut, getting your gut healthy, then you might actually get the results that you wanted. Would you be willing to try again? And I've had some people say yes, and I've had some people say no. So number one, did you know their goal? If you knew their goal, great. If you didn't, you can revisit that person, or you at least know for training yourself, okay, I kind of had responsibility in this person not sticking with it. So I need to make sure that my next person, I ask them their goals and I service them well. If you did know their goal, did you recommend the right product, right? Were you so new that you didn't know what you were recommending and you kind of messed that up? Fix it or take it as a learning moment. You recommended product. Did they order it? Okay, like my friend, she didn't order what I told her. What can you do? But you know that it wasn't you. Did they take it correctly? So that's staying in touch and giving good customer service. If they weren't consistent, if they weren't really committed, then you know that was them. It wasn't Plexus. Oh, the 90-day commitment. So you go back through these steps and ask yourself, did I do this? Did I do this? Did we talk about this? Did they order it? Were they consistent? And then you'll see where maybe it fell apart, and you can either try to fix it, or at least you can learn from it, or bless and release, and know that wasn't really Plexus not working. It was whatever the situation was. And so I hope that this helps you, to give you a little bit of information and training on how to start with someone and work your way through with them, and also how to coach someone into making decisions about their health, making decisions about their commitment, and grooming them, like I said, to take some responsibility over their health and the way that they choose to take the products or treat their bodies. And then also to help you kind of build up, I don't want to say defense in like a defensive sort of way, but like a protection, because I can tell you I say this also to all my new ambassadors, that the first cancel, the people that start with you will not probably be the ones that stay with you as far as customers. Those first few that are really excited, and maybe they will now because you'll groom them better than I did. But what I tell every newbie is the first group of people who drop off are the hardest for you to get through. It's defeating because you're new and you think maybe your belief in Plexus isn't as strong as mine is. I've been doing this for 4 years now, and there's nothing that's going to make me think that Plexus doesn't work. It can be hard. It can be depressing. And what I tell the newbies is we all go through it. We all obviously go through the first one. I think that we would probably agree that the first one's the hardest, but it doesn't stop there. I mean, I'm 4 years in. I've added probably 12 new customers in the last 3 or 4 months, which goes to show you that the well doesn't necessarily dry up. But I've also had in those last month, July, someone order, take it for 2 weeks and tell me it didn't work. And I'm like, are you kidding me? We had this whole entire conversation about like gut health and trying other things and why I think Plexus is different and how it takes time. And yes. and she didn't get a quick fix and she quit. And I know that it wasn't me. So when she canceled, I was like, see ya. And it's not that I don't care. It's that I know that that's her mindset and I'm not going to change it because I did all those steps and I did all that I could. So, okay, bye. But I want you to know that if you, first of all, if you go through these steps, you'll feel better about it when someone does go. You'll know the reason and you'll know that it wasn't you necessarily and it wasn't Plexus. And if it was you, take it as a training lesson and learn from it. And it will get easier for you to know it's okay. Plexus isn't for everybody. It's okay that some people are going to quit. This business does work. We have a team of over 3,000 ambassadors just from me and our whole group. If it didn't work, we wouldn't grow as much as we've grown. We wouldn't all still be here. So just be confident that you are in the right place. You have support. If you have questions about anything that I said, I can open it up. I'll stop recording and we can do a Q&A. But I just hope that this helps you in the beginning, kind of learning how to troubleshoot, but really how to start from the beginning so that when you do troubleshoot, you know that you covered all these bases. Stick with it. If you are a newbie, talk to your sponsor. Like I said, if you haven't experienced any cancellations, that's fantastic. If and when they come, you will get past them. We all have, we all do. It's part of the nature of the business. It's okay. Have you ever shopped at a store and then decided you wanted to go shop in a different store? It happens. But you can rest assured that there will be more people around the corner ready to try Plexus, some who will take it forever, some who will not. It's okay. We're doing fine as a company. We're growing every day. So it's not like Plexus is going to go anywhere because some people canceled their orders. So I hope that you found this beneficial. I'm going to stop the recording and I will open it up to Q&A if you guys have any.